Evolution is driven by people like us. The freethinkers. The game changers. The courageous ones. To improve is to change. To grow is to outlast. So, find the courage inside yourself to throw caution to the wind and call your own shots as we make the leap together. Break free from the confines of society, create boundary-defying innovations, redefine traditions, and create a new culture built on agility and imagination. We believe each and every one of us can rise to the occasion. To build on our heritage and shape our future. To become the Philippines' first tech-glomerate. Together, we can rewrite the rules in the age of great transformation. Change is not for the faint-hearted. It's for the rebels brave enough to dream it. So, join us in paving the way for a new class of Aboitiz innovators. The great transformation begins with you and me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our analysts briefing. Today, as part of our great transformation and ongoing efforts to improve the delivery of our briefings, we are going to report the financial and operating performance for the first half of 2023 of our publicly listed company, Aboitiz Power. But first, here are the house rules. All microphones are put on mute by default to minimize unnecessary background noise. Questions have been requested from our guests in advance. These will be prioritized in the Q&A today. If you have additional questions, please submit them through the Q&A button on the webinar controls. Questions submitted now will be answered at the end of the presentations if there is enough time. Those not taken up during the Q&A will be answered via email. The briefing will be recorded for documentation purposes. By joining this session, you consent to your name, voice, image, and chat comments being recorded for use and dissemination. If you do not consent to the foregoing, please do not join the session. Our program will flow as follows. To present to us today, we will have Mr. Manny Rubio, President and CEO of Aboitiz Power. At the end of the presentation, we will conduct a Q&A session where we will be joined by our CFO, Lisa Montelipano. And at the end of the event, when the Zoom platform closes, a pop-up screen will appear, which will allow you to provide feedback regarding the event. And now, on to our presentation, beginning with a short video.
Aboitiz Power powers progress in the lives of every Filipino every day. We power your homes, your businesses, and your communities in a reliable, cost-efficient, and sustainable way. Over the last century, we have been at the forefront of our country's energy transformation, reimagining sustainability and constantly powering a sustained and inclusive economic growth for our nation. Every day, we will keep the lights on, and every day, we are a step closer to a better future with Aboitiz Power.
And now I will turn you over to Mr. Manny Rubio.
Today, we gather here to reflect on our successes in the previous months. We celebrate not only our financial achievements, but also significant milestones that showcase our pursuit of excellence, continuous improvement. So in June, we participated in the Pride Festival in Quezon Memorial Circle, standing with over 110,000 attendees in support of the LGBTQ plus community. This event demonstrates that we are fostering a workplace culture that reflects individuality and values diversity. During the festivities, we unveiled our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging policy, guiding us towards a future where diversity thrives, equity is upheld, and everyone feels a sense of belonging. We also commemorated Headcore's 45th anniversary in May, marking a long-standing contribution to generating clean, renewable energy. And Headcore's journey has been pivotal in driving sustainability and making a positive impact on the environment and communities. Additionally, we are proud to announce that Aboitiz Power's distribution utilities, Cotabato Light, Davao Light, Subic Enerzone, and the Visayan Electric have become the first in the country to receive the ISO 55001 2014 certification. This recognizes the consistency and professionalism of our distribution utility subsidiaries in maintaining world-class asset management practices, ensuring efficiency, reliability, and safety across our operations. At Aboitiz Power, we take pride in our people and their collective efforts to achieve our goals. Our successes go beyond financial achievements as we continue to pave the way for a more inclusive and sustainable future. Now, let me share Aboitiz Power's first half results. Our beneficial EBITDA for the first half of 2023 was 38% higher compared to the same period last year. This was mainly due to contributions from GNPD, Dingginin, and high availability across our portfolio. With this, GNPD has been delivering much-needed energy to the grid. We have achieved record availability since we took over the operations of GNPD and GMEC last year. Our second quarter was 26% higher than the previous quarter, mainly due to higher portfolio trading and contracting margins and availability of our coal facilities. It was also higher by 36% versus the same quarter last year, primarily due to fresh contributions from GNPD and higher availability across our portfolio. The increase in EBITDA drove core income 95% higher year on year. Interest expense was lower due to Thermal Luzon or TLI's lower finance lease, and taxes and others increased due to higher taxable income. So, as a result, Aboitiz Power's net income for the first half of 2023 was 17.8 billion pesos, 79% higher compared to the same period last year. Cash decreased by 16% due to the payment of dividends, partially offset by the accumulated cash from our first half operations, largely coming from our thermal group. Investments and advances increased by 9%, primarily due to share in equity earnings from GNPD. For our generation and retail electricity supply group, capacity sales increased by 25% for the first half of 2023 compared to the same period last year due to fresh contributions from GNPD, higher Western dispatch of our portfolio resulting from higher availability and higher retail trading volumes. GNPD Unit 2 was selling to the spot market as originally planned in anticipation of high spot prices in the short to medium term. Our revenue increased by 44%, primarily due to fresh contributions from GNPD, higher retail trading sales, effective bilateral contract quantities, and spot rates driven by indices and availability across our portfolio. Our total energy sold was higher by 29% due to the same reasons mentioned in the previous slide. Our peso gross margin increased by 28% compared to the same period last year, mainly due to the previously mentioned drivers. Our purchase power volume increased as a result of our trading and arbitrage strategy. So as you can see from the quarterly performance charts on the right, our gross margin increased by 35% due to higher portfolio trading and contracting margins, availability of our coal facilities, Our energy generated increased by 20% due to higher availability of our coal facilities and contracted capacity. As mentioned earlier, our purchase power volume increased as a result of our trading and arbitrage strategy despite higher generation. Spot selling prices increased by 10% to 7.31 pesos per kilowatt hour, driven by higher demand and higher fuel costs of marginal plants. Bilateral contract quantity selling prices increased by 10% to 6 pesos 52 centavos per kilowatt hour, mainly due to indices. For our distribution business group, beneficial power sales increased by 7% year-on-year due to recoveries in demand which was affected by Typhoon Odette in the previous year. Energy sales from residential, commercial, and industrial customers were up by 7% due to the previously mentioned driver. On Western, the average year-to-date load-weighted average price was 7 pesos 17 centavos per kilowatt hour. This increased by 4% compared to the same period of 2022. Based on PSE updates, the elevated prices in the first half of 2023 were due to the thin supply in the market attributable to several plant outages. For better appreciation, we will show you the Luzon supply and demand situation in the next slide. The Luzon supply and demand situation continues to tighten in the next few years. To meet existing critical market needs, we are optimizing our existing baseload facilities. Over the past few months, we have been seeing NGCP alerts for the Luzon grid, as well as the Visayas grid. As our economy continues to recover, we expect that tight situation will continue and become tighter still in the medium term. On paper, the grid looks to have sufficient reserve margin with new supply coming in the next few years. However, there are a lot of challenges that remain in the building of new capacities, which may cause the tight supply and demand to persist. Adequate supply is largely dependent on whether the Green Energy Auction Program and promised project pipelines could actually deliver on time. We have almost 1,000 megawatts of disclosed projects so far. This have made delivery commitments within the next 3 years. So with that, we are well on our way towards delivering 3,700 megawatts of additional RE capacity by 2030. And this is part of our decarbonization journey. So allow me to update you on some projects in the next few slides. The Kayanga Solar Project is for the construction of a 94 megawatt peak solar power plant located in Barangay Kayanga, Municipality of Bugalyon, Pangasinan. Construction activities for the PV area, switchyard, and testing and commissioning are ongoing. The project status was at 94% completion with 0 lost time incident, and the project is expected to be energized this month. The Lawag Solar Project is a 159 megawatt peak plant located in Barangay Lawag, Municipality of Aguilar, Pangasinan. The construction activities for the PV farms, control buildings, substations, and transmission lines are all ongoing. The project status is 70% completed with 0 lost time incidents. The first phase, which has a capacity of 72 megawatt peak, is expected to be energized by November 2023. And the second phase, with a capacity of 87 megawatts peak, will be energized by the first quarter of 2024. SNAP's 24 megawatt Magat Best project, which broke ground in April 2022, has completed construction. Testing for ancillary services is expected to begin this month, and commercial operations the first quarter of 2024. In Tiwi, there is an initiative to convert waste heat from the geothermal brine to power a 17-megawatt binary power plant. Construction activities and site development are ongoing. The project status was at 75% completion with zero lost time incident, and it is expected to be energized by the end of the year. We would like to update you on our project with the Philippine Geothermal Corporation of the Philippines, or PGPC, which gave us an additional 90 megawatts, 97 to be exact, from the new wells under Steam Production Enhancement Campaign Program. And this has exceeded our initial target of 50 megawatts by drilling 12 wells, new wells. So indeed, there's still much to look forward to for Aboitiz Power this year. And as we conclude this presentation, we are excited to share other significant updates on Aboitiz Power sustainability journey and the growth of our renewable portfolio. Firstly, we're looking to begin construction of our Calatrava solar and Olongapo solar projects within the year. Additionally, we are proud to announce that the 52-megawatt Libmanan onshore wind project in Camarines Sur has secured a place in the Green Energy Auction Program Round 2. And this achievement solidifies our position in contributing to the country's energy transition goals. To bring this project to fruition, we entered into a joint venture with Mainstream Renewable Power, one of the most successful developers of gigawatt-scale RE platforms across onshore and offshore wind, as well as solar power generation, delivering globally 6.5 gigawatts of generation assets to financial close ready. With Libmanan making our entry into this market, we're expecting to do more wind projects as part of our portfolio. Furthermore, our latest joint venture with Upgrade Energy Philippines, or UGEP, aligns perfectly with Aboitiz Power's distributed renewables ambition of providing sustainable and customer-focused energy solutions. Together, we accelerate our journey toward renewable energy adoption while enhancing our focus on our customers. So with these endeavors, we are well on track to achieving a goal of an additional 3,700 megawatts, or probably even more, of renewable energy by 2030, bringing our total capacity to 4,600 megawatts. So we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our stakeholders for their unwavering support, and together we are driving positive change, shaping a sustainable tomorrow, and leaving lasting impact on the communities that we serve. Maraming salamat. Good afternoon. So our key takeaways from this presentation: our success go beyond financial achievements as we go and pave the way for an inclusive and sustainable future with our DEIB policy. We're making strides in sustainability journey and the growth of our renewables portfolio as we have disclosed, and we remain steadfast in our pursuit of more prosperous tomorrow for the Philippines and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, EVR. Before we move on to our Q&A, we would like to request our audience to complete a survey that will pop out on your screen right now. Now on to our Q&A. We have received advanced questions. We will take them up now. If we have time, we will address questions raised live on the platform. So for our first question for today, what is the quantum of availability of plants and how did it improve by? Can we attribute the EBITDA performance to be more due to better prices or better output? Besides spot market prices, can management highlight which existing thermal plants were also able to recontract at better bilateral or RES prices?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Judd. Very good question. It's something to actually highlight what we're doing in Aboitiz Power. As mentioned earlier, our beneficial EBITDA was higher compared to the same period last year by 38%. 30% is attributable to GNPD's fresh contributions, while 8% is attributable to higher availability across our portfolio. All our coal plant facilities have increased availability compared to last year. GMEC plant increased availability by 20%. Pagbilao plants increased availability by 6%, which already was on a high performance level. TSI plant increased availability by 6%, and TVI plant increased availability by 7%, all registering higher than NERC-GAD's standards. So with regard to our portfolio bilateral contracts, we have increased our portfolio contracted capacity by 25% with higher contracted rates, both due to higher indices and better bilateral contract quantity rates.
Thank you, sir. Next question. How much energy was produced or sold during the year-on-year change by the hydro plants in 2Q 2023 and first half 2023? How much were the earnings and the year-on-year change of the hydro plants in 2Q 2023 and first half 2023?
Yeah, well, comparing first half 2023 against the same period last year, AP hydro plants energy sold and EBITDA decreased by 13% and 5% respectively. The decrease is mainly attributable to lower water inflow with impending El Nino and lower ASPA margins due to the late CSP of AS by NGCP.
Thank you, sir. Next question. What was GNPD's EBITDA contribution and net profit contribution in 2Q 2023 and first half 2023 versus first half 2022? Also, what is the output contribution of GNPD plant and how much did this grow year on year?
I'll pass this question on to Lisa. Liz?
GNPD's beneficial EBITDA and NIAT contribution in the second quarter was 5.4 billion pesos and 4.8 billion pesos respectively. For the first half of 2023, GNPD's beneficial EBITDA and NIAT contribution was 9.8 billion pesos and 9.3 billion pesos respectively. If we compare these results to the same period last year, EBITDA and NIAT increased by 242% and 176%. Mainly due to higher plant availability and higher effective revenue rates. GNPD's energy generated volume in the first half of 2023 was 3.6 gigawatt hours. This is a 165% increase from the same period last year, mainly due to higher plant availability of both units.
Thank you. Next question. Can you give an update of the turnover status of GNPD, and when will the management start recognizing depreciation for GNPD units 1 and 2? Can you also remind us again, what is the additional annual depreciation expense for each unit?
Yeah, thank you, John. We're almost there. We're still negotiating with the EPC contractor, SEPSI, and for the full close out of all the punch list items. There's still quite few critical items that have yet to be closed out. So recognition of the depreciation will commence upon full acceptance of the plant. And based on GNPD's availability performance, depreciation is estimated, and given the negotiations with the contractor, we expect that we will be accepting the plant and depreciation will start by first quarter of 2024. So average annual depreciation is around $90 million or 4.5 billion pesos at 100% ownership.
Thank you for that. Next question. Could I get more color on the reason for the increase in the DU segment's beneficial EBITDA and implied margin expansion? Do you think you'd be able to maintain or improve upon these margins moving forward?
Yeah, as we have disclosed in previous analysts briefing, when NUC was actually high, and what's happening now in the DU business is the reverse of last year's trend, when we had negative timing in pass-through when the nuke was actually going up. Now that it is going down, the nuke is now this again at the lag, no, and we're experiencing a favorable timing in the pass-through. So as it goes down, but we're seeing less volatility, no. But as it goes down, that we're enjoying the lag performance, the lag effect.
Thank you for that, sir. Next question. Were there any gains from coal contract hedges during the first half of 2023?
Lisa, would you like to answer this?
Right. So we still had 900 million gains from financial commodity hedges, but this is already significantly lower versus the 6 billion that we had in the same period of last year, because the nuke, as you know, has already come down significantly. But you'll see that despite this, there's still significant improvement in our financials.
Thank you for that. Next question. We saw an article and wanted to check see if AP is one of the GenCos expecting to collect back payments in relation to the WESM spike back in 2013. And if ever, would you be able to share the amount?
Yeah, actually, yes, we're aware of the ruling. We were looking forward to that ruling, no? But we still are waiting for the instructions on how to implement the collection and the payment. No? As you know, that we were selling and also buying at the same time during that period, no? During the November and December 2013 outage of Malampaya. Aside from the fact that legal processes have to be observed and finalized, we are mindful that the ruling is now to be implemented 9 years after the occurrence of the event. So who pays who collects from whom, is something that we still have to understand. No, as ERC would have to really, I think, consider the lapsing of contracts, and then who actually sold, who actually generated. No, this is not an easy or simple task, and as you can imagine, complications arise from the significant time that has elapsed, as well as given the number of parties involved in the case. So, as such, it is premature at this point to comment on the effect of the ruling on AP in particular. But as soon as we get clarity on how this will be implemented, we will get back to you. But we had a mix of payers and receivers, as I mentioned, within AP, and for this 2013 event. And back then, we were largely neutral, with a bit of upside. So if this gets reversed, we are once again largely neutral with some level of upside, but not significant.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, sir. Next question. Are there any planned or unplanned outages foreseen for the rest of the year?
Yes, there are. We have planned outages scheduled for the rest of the year. Pagbilao Unit 2 will be on planned outage in August. TSI Unit 2 and Unit 1 will be on planned outage in September and October, respectively. And GNPD Unit 1 will be on planned outage in September.
Okay, sir. Next question. How are the water levels of AP's hydro plants? What is your outlook on the performance of AP's hydro assets given El Nino?
Yeah, well, given El Nino, hydrology is actually quite low. No? Compared to last year, hydro plants are producing lower volume because of lower inflow. And the ongoing effect can decrease energy sold and increase the purchase power of the hydro portfolio.
Thank you for that. Next question. What is the latest on AP's planned LNG power plant project?
Well, we have now a development and the project execution team. We've completed the hiring of these individuals, this team, to look into developing our first foray into LNG. And we are looking, of course, at serving a significant DU requirements, no? And basically a schedule for Meralco's CSP, which we expect for this plan to deliver in 2028 at the earliest. And we've chosen a location which is Pagbilao.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Next question. How should we think about dividends? Does management peg this on an absolute dividend per share basis or solely on a percentage payout?
Well, the practice has always been to pay one half of the previous year's consolidated net income. No? And of course, this is always subject to annual review and approval by the board and subject to change if we see fit.
Thank you for that. Next question. On JUP2, how many contracts in megawatts did AP bid for? And I assume this is mostly solar?
Actually, no, we won a position on wind, no? And we're able to win with 52 megawatts peak capacity in our Libmanan wind project in partnership with Mainstream. And this is currently under review by DOE for compliance. We expect that we'll be compliant.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Of the 1,000 plus megawatts in RE capacity AP has in the pipeline, how many are contracted?
Out of the 1,000 megawatts in the pipeline, around 800 megawatts are actually contracted. For the remaining 200 megawatts, ARI remains flexible to contracting this with DUs or RES or joint succeeding JUPs or to even just expose it to the spot market depending on the behavior of spot market prices.
Okay, now we have, I believe this is the last question for today. What is the contracting strategy outlook in 2024 onwards, given the group's outlook on spot prices and the anticipated influx of RE and potentially also the entry of new gas plants in the latter half of the decade?
Yeah, I'll ask Lisa to answer this.
So, our contracting strategy remains to be quite consistent, where, first we ensure we meet the minimum contracting level required for any of our loan covenants. Beyond that, we use WESM as our benchmark price in contracting. If we believe that we can get higher prices in WESM than contracting, then we keep a certain open position to maximize WESM opportunity in the short term. And if there's an opportunity to lock in long term, we do so as long as it is within the budget margins that we see fit.
Yeah, and can I also add that even though there's expectation that gas plants will be coming in later half of the decade, Luzon and Visayas actually needs 700 megawatts, at least based on our DOE forecast, year on year, that needs to be filled up to make sure that there's enough supply margin in the grid. So there's space.
Okay, thank you, sirs. That wraps up our Q&A. We still have some questions, I believe, but rest assured we will answer them all by email. For the benefit of those who missed the session for today or would like to rewatch the event, we would like to remind everyone that this briefing was recorded and will be uploaded on our website as soon as possible. And at the end of the event, there will be a survey form that will pop out that will allow you to type out additional feedback. Before we end, on behalf of the entire presentation development team, led here today by our CEO, we would like to thank our analysts, banks, investors, and other friends in the financial community for joining us and for helping us tell our story. For those of you who will join us for the AEV Analysts Briefing, see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. And for the rest, see you all again for our third quarter briefing on November 7. Until then, goodbye for now.
Thank you.